greater self-awareness. Change your day, not your life. Jeff is a local sports legend. He is the past captain of a university dream team, the only one to win a national championship in the state's history for a sport. Even now, decades after he graduated, most local restaurants won't let him pay for a meal. They are proud he has chosen their place of business. Jeff was drafted to the pros and had a successful career. And then he went to medical school and eventually became a well-known surgeon in his home community. When Jeff approached me for personal coaching, I was not at all sure how or if I could help him. He seemed to have lived and to be living an exceptional life. Over coffee, Jeff said, "Andy, I've reached a lot of goals, but there is so much more I want to do and feel a need to do. My focus, energy, and motivation are often not what I want them to be." Jeff was struggling a little with the answer to a long-standing question of many successful people. Why don't I always do what I know I should do and even want to do? The answer to that question, I believe, begins with an understanding of the basics of our collective lives. At our core, I hope you will find it encouraging to realize that we human beings are far more alike than we are different. Nearly all of us want to help others, be connected to others, be active and healthy, and we all want to accomplish things in life and be valued for what we achieve. We are all born with an extraordinary ability and innate motivation to learn, love, help, and live. Most of us want to improve ourselves in various ways for our entire life. We have DNA that is 99% alike. We are far more alike as human beings than we are different, even if we are of different races and gender. Just think about it. Unless you have had an accident, surgery, or were born with a specific abnormality, you have a spleen. I have a spleen. Our spleens are in the same place in our bodies and function in pretty much the same way. You have fingernails. I have fingernails. You have 2 ears located on either side of your head. So do I. Our similarities abound anatomically, physiologically, and in behavioral ways that are hard to define fully. Perhaps our greatest similarity is that we are finite creatures living in a world of infinite possibilities and combinations, and all of that is spread against a backdrop of history, the current moment, and eternity. Furthermore, we all live in a world in which the sun rises and sets each day. We all have a basic routine that involves waking, eating, working, and sleeping, and most people seem to have some difficulty, at least at some point in their lives, staying motivated, energized, and focused. The question, why don't I do what I want to do, is a very common question asked by the vast majority of people. Thrivers and strivers both suffer from it. There are 2 answers that I encourage people to explore. The first answer lies in a greater awareness of your uniqueness. Even though you are mostly like the rest of humanity, you are also one of a kind. You are a composite of hundreds of factors that are aligned and proportionately unique. Explore your uniqueness. It holds many clues as to why you don't stay as focused and energized as you want to be. Know your rhythm and capacity. Are you aware that even one-cell organisms, such as bacteria, have a built-in 24-hour rhythm? The flow of energy is universal, and while we are mostly alike, we each have a distinctive flow of energy, often called a biorhythm. Some people are night owls. Others are early birds. Some people need 9 hours of sleep a night to function at their best. Others do well with 7. Some people process certain nutrients more efficiently and quickly than others. They have a higher metabolism or lower metabolism than the norm. Every person faces the challenge in a day of discovering their optimal biological rhythm and then living within that rhythm for maximum productivity, energy, and effectiveness. In addition to the rhythms of a day, we have a built-in human rhythm when it comes to a week. We are creatures who need times of relaxation every week in order to stay at our best. Think moon cycles and the rising and falling of tides. According to the fullness of the moon, our bodies are mostly water, subject to the pull of gravity, and it only makes sense that certain biorhythms are impacted by gravitational forces that we rarely give pause to consider. And frankly, most of us are not in touch with our bodies to the point that we fully recognize all that influences us. There is very often a physical reason for our lack of energy, and that can be a direct cause for our lack of ability to remain focused and motivated. We are wise to get in touch with ourselves, not in order to blame our choices and behavior on physical or natural causes, but to be aware of these influences so that we can take evasive or compensatory steps. In addition to the general way in which each of us is a unique one-of-a-kind entity, we also face unique circumstances and situations. We have a one-of-a-kind litany of events and encounters, and each event or encounter has a physical and emotional impact on our energy and motivation. People recovering from a major accident or illness. People reeling from an unexpected or unwanted divorce. People grieving the loss of a loved one are all people who are likely not going to be able to do all they want to do or believe they should do. They need to cut themselves some temporary slack and take concerted measures to rebuild their physical and emotional reserves so they can restore, renew, and rehabilitate their own reserves of energy and strength. They need to seek out extra measures of restoring their spiritual and emotional health. They need to pay special attention to the root causes for their lack of motivation. Back to Jeff. As a surgeon, he sometimes found himself at a hospital for as long as 40 hours at a stretch without sleep. He did his best to control his schedule and to eat and sleep with as much regularity as possible, but his schedule did not always seem to be his own to manage. Core concept: manage what you can manage. The challenge is to manage what you can manage. Start there. Managing what you can manage is often enough to compensate for what you cannot manage. In seeking to manage your day and to make changes that will occur daily, you need to address how your particular body is wired. Know your rhythms and know your capacities. How much food do you actually need in a day? How much water? How much sleep? How much of which nutrients do you need? And if you are lacking in some vital nutrients, do you know which ones and how to get them? Are you exercising daily and sufficiently to release stress and gain strength? Are you taking medications in the right dosages? Most charts related to height, weight, and physical capacity are based upon averages. A 5'3" woman and a 6'7" man should not be consuming the same calories or taking medications at identical dosages. Are you in sync with what you need to sustain a positive, upbeat outlook on life? These are questions only you can answer, but they are questions worthy of answering. Part of the reason you don't do what you want to do may have to do with very practical physiological functions in your body. The above factors related to food, sleep, exercise, and medications are things you can manage. Start there. The facts associated with your unique physical and emotional makeup should always be taken into consideration as you move to part 2 of the answer related to focus and motivation, your decision-making skills. Decisions and choices. I recently heard about a man who said, life is a series of decisions and their consequences. While I don't know anyone who would disagree with that statement, few people seem to see that their personal life in any given day often boils down to a series of sequential choices and decisions and their consequences. In many cases, the choices and decisions not only produce immediate consequences, but one of the foremost consequences is that choices and decisions build upon one another and, in many ways, prescribe future choices and decisions. A choice is a decision, and all decisions involve choices. In a broad sense, choices and decisions are good or bad because of the outcomes they produce. Stop to consider. When you go to bed at night, do you choose to watch late night television, or do you turn off the light and go to sleep? When you wake in the morning, what are your first thoughts? How are you choosing to think? When you arrive at work, what is the first action you take? Are you prepared to launch into high-value work, or do you allow a slow start? In the break room at work, do you grab a donut or a Greek yogurt? At the department store, do you buy a new gadget on a whim, or keep your money in your pocket in anticipation of something you have been saving for? Do you leave work with thoughts of what you've accomplished, or what remains undone? Upon arriving home from work, do you launch into dinner, eating like it's the end of the world, or do you lace on your walking shoes and go for a walk? Do you respond to your significant other, pet, or child with patience or impatience? All of these questions point to very simple routine choices and decisions that people make every day, often without genuine intention or forethought. A high percentage of people react to life. They go with the flow around them and make instant choices without pausing to consider consequences or long-term impacts. The key bit of awareness required of you is recognizing your own decision-making style, the unique factors that surround your choices. Are your choices made on a foundation of solid values and beliefs? Is your decision-making reactionary or intentional and thoughtful as you make choices? Have you developed an attitude of what will be, will be? Or do you firmly believe that what will be is related to who I am and what I decide? You do know the right choices to make. Let me give you a ray of encouragement. People who ask, why don't I do what I want to do, or what I know I should do, are admitting at one level that they do know the right things to do. That's a big plus. A truly clueless person doesn't ask, why don't I do what I desire to do? A truly thoughtless person doesn't question his or her lack of focus or motivation. So give yourself some solid points on this account. Through my years of coaching and researching working adults in a variety of disciplines, I have often asked clients these 3 questions. 1, to be better at work and in your personal life, do you know what you might do or should do? Every person has said yes. 2, do you know why you aren't doing the activities you should do at a level you could do them? Again, every person has said yes. They gave different answers, but each person identified at least one reason why they weren't doing what they knew they could do or should do. Some said lack of time, some cited lack of money, some saw themselves as too tired or physically sick, and a few blamed another person for standing in their way. 3, do you know someone who has less time and faces greater challenges and yet still does what you could or should do to a greater degree of regularity than you? Again, every person has said yes, including Jeff. I'm not going to tell you what Jeff's answers were, but let me assure you that once we got down to this level of analysis, Jeff clearly already knew what he needed to do in order to live the life he was pursuing. Socrates once said, "My way toward the truth is to ask the right questions." I'm with Socrates. So the question I now ask, as question number 4, is this: to what degree do you want to be focused, motivated, healthy, and successful? And question number 5 is a quick follow-up: to what degree do you think you deserve to be or can be more focused, motivated, healthy, or successful? You can add any other objective of your choice to that list. You might add wealthy, educated, in a loving relationship, spiritually strong, influential, or any number of other traits or goals. Do you think you are capable of having that, doing that, or becoming that? Do you think you are worthy of something greater, finer, more beneficial? From my years of personal coaching, I have concluded that a primary reason many people have trouble staying focused and motivated tends to be because they don't believe they can do something, receive something, or earn something they think they need. And in other cases, they Don't believe they deserve a brighter tomorrow. The net result of thinking that you can't change or that you shouldn't receive greater rewards is the same. People give up before they reach their goals. The self-determination theory. One of my favorite theories related to self-motivation, willpower, and overcoming procrastination is called the self-determination theory. This theory contends that a person's innate nature is to be motivated, optimistic, and productive. If a person doesn't feel that way, then the person is simply not getting what he or she needs. Unsatisfied needs create powerful and invisible barriers that stand between what a person wants to be and what he perceives that he is or is capable of being. The greater the need, and the longer it goes unmet, the greater the force against the person, pushing him back, holding him down, or keeping him from making what seems to be an increasingly difficult effort. Unmet needs hammer at our basic sense of self-worth and value. For a person to attempt to meet a need, that person must first believe that he is worthy of having the need met and that the need can be met. Without those basic beliefs, the person will not try, at least not fully. In not trying, he negates any hope of having the need met. The good news is that when a person starts to satisfy more of the basic needs he feels, the more these barriers turn into stepping stones. The meeting of needs compels a person to seek to address and conquer more needs. A positive force is put into motion. Core concept: positive motion creates positive emotion. To change your day, remember, before you will take steps to change your day, you must believe that you can change your day and believe that when you do, you will deserve to have a better day. What you decide will set you up to make choices and decisions that you can make and that only you can make. Thrivers and strivers alike suffer the question, why don't I do what I know I should and want to do? Thrivers just have a better mental approach and daily system that fuels their motivational needs. If you are willing to try, then you need to take these 3 steps. 1. Reflect on your own makeup and the rhythms of life that impact you. Do a little self-analysis that includes identifying the best times of day for your most productive and creative work, identifying your own flow of physical energy during a day, identifying any prevailing external factors that may be sapping your energy or preoccupying your mind and emotions, either temporary or semi-permanent factors. 2. Make a list of 3 things you know you should do every day. 3. Make a list of changes you think might be made to ensure that you get those changes accomplished daily. Nobody knows you as well as you.